Good evening, everybody. We're live in the pits of Metalcast. It's your host, Dave, and I got on the line with me, Worhol from Texas. How you guys doing tonight?
We are doing great. Thank you so much for having us.
No problem. So you guys want to run down who's all over there and what instrument you guys play and all that?
Absolutely. So I am Ashley Worhol, and I am the vocalist, co-composer, and the pianist.
And I am Larry Worhol, her dad, and I play guitar and help compose with her.
Yes, okay.
This is Craig Malinowski, and I am the bassist.
This is Marty Nall, and I am the drummer.
And there you have it. We are a four-piece band.
Cool. So now you want to give me a history of the band?
Sure. So basically, with my father and I, we have started the group maybe roughly around 3 years ago, I would say. And over the course of time, we have been very fortunate in the members of our band. You know, Craig joined us, and he's also a graphic artist. And he has done a lot of, the flyers, graphic work that you've seen for the band. And luckily, we were able to find Marty, which is kind of a funny story. We had, a site that was on Bandmix, and we were looking for a drummer, and we actually had to pay to have his phone number. So we told him that, we would take it out of his first paycheck, the whole $2 to find out who he was.
I'm still paying for it, by the way.
So yeah, so we've really focused on our niche and having symphonic rock music, and we've been going strong. And over the past couple of years, we have signed a record deal. We have a publisher based out of Italy. We've recorded and released a full-length album, and we also will be having an EP releasing this year, and we recently just released our music video to the track Already Forgotten, and we always have something in our back pocket. So our history is there, and we plan to be in the present and the future.
Now, you guys just played a show this past Saturday. Can you tell us about that show? How'd it go?
Absolutely. I'll let Marty kind of tell a little bit on his side, and we'll kind of all take turns.
The weather here was pretty bad. It was cold and wet and windy, and, there was a lot of stuff going on. So I thought, for all things considered, I thought we had a good crowd. And we had a couple of bands open for us that are really good friends of ours. A band called Lunacy opened the show. And then a trio, Texas T&T, fired up second, and then we played. And then something strange happened Saturday afternoon about 5 o'clock. I guess, Ashley, you got a call or an email or something.
Yeah, I got a message.
From some guys, a band called McKinley out of North Carolina. They're out on the road, and they had some troubles with a gig or something, and their gig fell through, or their tour fell through. I'm not really sure. And they were hunting around trying to find a gig to play, and they had contacted 6 or 7 different venues and bands and got turned down by everybody. And we told them, well, sure, yeah, come on, and you guys can close the show. And so they showed up, and they played after us, and man, we had a great time. Those guys rocked. Yeah,
they were really professional, and it's very important to us, especially, being a musician in this industry. It's all about making friends and helping out one another, because things always happen on the road. When we toured the UK a couple years ago, the first show we actually arrived, my keyboard wasn't working, and there was a radio host gentleman there who we had known for years but never met in person, and he let me borrow his keyboard the whole tour. So, in this industry, things happen, and it's always nice to be able to have friends and people who are willing to step up and allow you to be a part of your show. So they were really, really nice. The show was such a great turnout. We met a lot of new fans. The lights were starting to get photos back. It was a great outcome.
That's good to hear. So, Ashley, can you tell me, how long have you been singing for?
Since I could crawl on a piano bench. And that's literally no joke. Let's see. So I grew up obviously listening to my dad playing piano, and I would kind of pick things out by ear, and I sang obviously through, elementary school all the way through choir, and I was trained as an opera singer. So when I went to college, I, of course, was part of the choir there. We had both kind of a choral operatic choir. Then we also had more of a pop choir, I guess you could say. And I ended up getting my degree in music composition and then with a minor in vocals. So I've been singing as long as I can remember, and probably at an age when my parents were very annoyed.
Now, is this your first band you're singing in?
Yes, and it is definitely the one to be in.
Now, let me talk to Larry.
Yes. He's over here grinning. Yes, my turn.
He's over there being annoyed. I was just saying, when you start asking these questions, I'm going to sound like a dinosaur.
Okay.
Because I started a long time ago. I started playing piano when I was 6, and I took from a lady pianist that was across the street from the school I went to, and she'd come drag us out of school, my sister and I, to take piano lessons. And boy, she was pretty mean too, and I really didn't enjoy playing piano, but my mom and dad made me do it. And then when the Beatles came along and I saw all the girls screaming and hollering and fainting over them, I decided, the guitar is what I want to play. So I picked up guitar, and I played piano and guitar all through my careers in life, and then ended up settling in the group with guitar, because when Ashley and I first started writing together, we both were on keyboard, and I said, well, this isn't going to really work. So I went back to picking up the guitar and getting settled in there. And then there's songs I still write on the piano for us, and then she writes hers on her piano, and then we bring them to the band.
Now, were you self-taught, or you took lessons for guitar, Larry?
No, I started out taking lessons, but actually the guitar player that guitarist was at a company called Parker Music Company at the time. I was taking for a gentleman there, and then his wife also played, but they were really country and western singers, and so I kind of learned a little bit of country. And it was so funny because at the lessons, if she wasn't there or he wasn't there, the other person taught, and he would teach me something one way. The next week she'd come and go, "Where'd you learn to do that?" And I said, "From your husband." And she said, "Well, don't do it." And then the next lesson he'd come and ask me the same question. So it was a battle between them two. And so I just kind of gave it up. And then after that, I just kind of started listening to a lot of records, 45s and 33s, and some of the greats, like Hendrix and Jimmy Page and all them, and started playing a little bit more by ear. Whereas piano, I stuck to mainly the music and the classical stuff till later on in my life. And when I grew up and growing up, I was in a lot of garage bands, things like that, playing all the time in groups, either guitar, piano, and clubs, restaurants, and continued that throughout my life. Got my degree in music, and piano was my major. And then I picked up saxophone, and that was my second instrument in college. And then I also, besides that, studied orchestration and composition, and then we got a music education degree too.
So this band is your first band, more serious band that you've been in out of all of them?
Oh no, not at all. I've been in so many different bands growing up along the ways, and a lot of played around a lot of people in my days, just like Billy Gibbons, ZZ Top. I remember when he was in the Moving Sidewalks, we used to play the Catacombs and everything. So I grew up around a lot of musicians, a lot of the older musicians, and when I was very young, my sister and I had a group, and it was called the Dark Street Airway Band, and we played a lot of Beatles. The drum head on it was painted like the emblem from Sgt. Pepper's, but we got to play at a place here on the landing that was Love Street, like Circus Field, the machine we played with Jefferson Airplane at the time. So we got to get to play with some of the big guys at the time.
Now, Larry, are there any guitar players that are out there these days that are inspirational to you?
Nowadays, not so much as who I grew up with, just listening to different, I love them all, I think a lot of times some of the combination of things I've heard, my first, time I experienced with, I remember I went to see Big Brother, Janis Joplin, Big Brother and the Holding Company, and believe it or not, Led Zeppelin backed them up. They were the opening act. No. Yeah, they were. Really? Nobody knew who they were. I didn't even know who it was. I was playing in a garage band, and our bass player, Monroe, brought in their album, the White Album, and goes, "Hey, you got to hear this group." And sure enough, that night when they started out with Good Times, Bad Times, I said, "That's the guy group," But Jimmy Page, I used to always, Stairway to Heaven is still #1 song that I love.
But just listen to Hendrix. I mean, there were just so many guitarists at the time. The Doors, I played in a group where we played that with the Doors. And the guitar, I love the guitar player of the Doors, too. He had his own unique style. It seemed like every guitarist in the era I grew up in had such different and unique styles at the time. And so I kind of picked a little bit of everything, combined it. And then when I really got into the classical music in college and everything, and a lot of, different violinists like Paganini, and Liszt was my idol on piano. And I tried to get that type of style, add that in to mix it with the guitar in that too. But I'm kind of I try to be more of a melodic guitarist rather than, like Eddie Van Halen, that's more, technical and speed.
So now what bands out there influenced you guys to start playing symphonic metal?
I'll let Ashley answer that one.
Of course, we always get Evanescence, Nightwish, Within Temptation, Epica, which personally I grew up listening to Amy Lee, and she's such a powerhouse. And I think just the music in general being that female-fronted image, just having the expression and having, the heavy drums behind more of an operatic voice, that's something that I have actually always dreamed and had inspiration for. We've really broken out into our own, to where places that we play, everyone might say that we sound like certain bands, but, now it's getting to the point to where they know Worhol for their own sound, which is such an excitement because we really do try and tune in on the kinds of chord progressions that we use, with the orchestration that my father writes, with the drums that Marty does, with the bass that Craig does. We're always kind of upgrading our gear to have certain sounds that we're looking for. My dream, of course, would be have a full orchestra on stage with us and a choir backing me up. Maybe one day soon that'll happen. But anything that kind of people can relate to, there are different things that you can listen to, melodies that can really, truly trigger certain things in a person. And those are the kinds of things that we work towards.
Okay. Now let me talk to Craig.
Okay, yes, he's over here.
I'm still here.
Hey, Craig, how long you been playing bass guitar?
Surprisingly, not that long.
No, not 3 weeks.
Definitely not 3 weeks. It's been around maybe 4 years.
So were you self-taught, or do you take lessons?
I actually took some lessons, and when I first had started to play, I had Larry actually teach me. I had met up with the bands, starting to do graphic work for them and working on stuff of the band's image and that kind of stuff. And then,
and of course, they told him to redo it 5 to 10 times. So
that is, yeah.
He's like, really, it's 20.
They are very particular with how they want their stuff to look. So, but it is what it is today.
So this is your first band playing bass guitar, and then?
That is correct.
So how do you like playing the bass guitar now that they got you playing the bass guitar?
I like it a lot. I was unsure at first. Guitar always looks cooler, but now that for the same reason Larry said he wanted to play the guitar. But after learning the bass and everything, I've really, really learned to enjoy it. There's just so much to it.
So is there any bass players out there that are influence you at all?
Not as much. There's a lot of different kinds of styles out there, and the way that I kind of play is, I feel like it's a little more unique to myself, and so I'm just, keeping my eyes open and just kind of taking everything in.
That's good. You play with a pick, or you play with your fingers?
I do both. It just kind of depends on the type of song. I prefer to play with my fingers, but on the few songs I almost have to play with a pick because I like the cleaner sound.
Okay. Now let me get Marty.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Now, Marty, how long have you been playing drums for?
Oh my gosh, I'm going to age myself here. The first concert I ever went to was in 1964. My sister and her boyfriend took me to see the Beatles in Dallas. And that was a life-changing experience for me. I saw them. In that respect, I have to say Ringo Starr is probably my biggest influence. Not necessarily because of his technical abilities, but because seeing that concert is what made me want to play the drums. And I'd already been playing piano. I started playing piano and taking lessons when I was about 6. And I started drumming when I was about 11. And I've been playing ever since then. And a lot of guys have come along that have really influenced me. Clive Bunker, the original drummer from Jethro Tull, was a big influence on me. The old jazz drummers, Gene Krupa, Buddy Rich, Louis Bellson, who was the first drummer to use double bass drums in the late 30s, early 40s. All those guys had a really big influence on me. And then a lot of the hard rock drummers in the 80s, Tommy Aldridge, Carl Palmer, all those guys, Neil Peart, of course, all those guys.
Now, how many bands have you played in?
Oh, my gosh.
My age?
Yeah. Ashley's 27. I probably played in twice as many bands. I was in a couple of pretty successful bands before I joined Worhol. And one of the bands I was in has 2 or 3 albums out, and I was with them for a long time, and kind of dropped in and out, and played with other bands over the years, but then kept going back to that other band. And they're all still around. All the members are still around. We're all in touch. Everybody's on good terms, and we all communicate, and we all get along. But there comes a time when you just have to say, well, we've ridden this horse as far as we can ride it, so it's time to go do something else. And so that's I felt the need to do that. And I was looking around. Well, actually, what they said, they found me on Bandmix, and they had to pay to find me. So, but these guys are probably the hardest working band I've ever been in. These people know how to brand the band really well. They know how to market things really well. I don't think Ashley ever sleeps. Well, no, I take that back. The only time she sleeps is when we're on the road. You put her in a car, shut the door, and turn on the engine, and she's out.
or an airplane.
Or an airplane, yeah. So, but yeah, these people are really hard working, and that's what it takes. I mean, it's one thing to play the music, but you got to back that up with, good business sense and marketing sense and merchandise and branding and all that. It's a package because it's a business.
And dressing up.
And dressing up. Yeah. When I first joined the band, Ashley took one look at my wardrobe and said, "Dude, I got to take you shopping." So she did. So yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty interesting experience.
Yeah. So now, what kind of drums do you play, Marty?
Well, I just got an endorsement deal about a year ago with Phoenix Drum Company out of Phoenix, Arizona, and Philip Gelb, the guy who owns the drum company, he and I kind of collaborated on a new set for me, and he built them, and it took him about 6 months to build them, and when we went out to L.A. last July, we stopped off in Phoenix and picked up the new drums. So it's a unique set of Phoenix drums. They're black smoke tinted acrylic with red powder-coated hardware, and they're just absolutely stunning.
How many?
I used them Saturday night, and that was just amazing. One bass drum with a double pedal. I'm leaving the other bass drum at home nowadays. I used to tour with 2 bass drums, and after a while, carrying all that stuff with you it gets to be, too much.
So how many pieces is the kit then?
It's 7-piece. It's a kick and snare, 3 rack toms, 2 floor toms, and then I've got a full set of Soul Tone cymbals. I got an endorsement deal with Soul Tone last year as well, and they outfitted me with a full set of my own signature series cymbals. So I'm still getting used to the set. It's different from any drum set I've ever played because, well, first of all, they're acrylic. I've always played on wood drums before, so they sound different, they feel different. But man, I'm really having fun. I had a lot of fun Saturday night, and those drums were really punching through, I thought. So, yeah.
So how's your guys' fan base out there in Texas?
I'm going to let Ashley handle that because I don't know.
Okay.
Our fan base is actually great. It's been very interesting. Every show that we go to, whether it's here in Texas, whether it's traveling to Florida, Colorado, everyone seems pleasantly surprised. We do have stage props, so that always intrigues people. They see the appearance first, and it makes them curious of, I wonder what they sound like. And most of the time, it's not what they expect. I know looking at photos, it looks like I'm tall, but I'm really, really short. And everyone who meets me, they look at me and they're like, I really thought you were much taller than that, because with our sound, it is a big sound, with Dad's guitar, with Marty, with Craig, and myself. And it just takes people by surprise. Yes, they do relate our music to, like I said, a couple other bands out there, but it's still kind of within its own genre. So people hear it and they love it because it's new. It's almost part of a new era out there. And believe it or not, some of our fan base, of course, is Europe. Argentina is a huge one, which we were pleasantly surprised by that, as well as Japan, a lot of the South American countries, but it's really worldwide. Canada also as well. But Texas, we've traveled just a little bit through Texas. A lot of our stuff has been in other states. But everywhere we go, we have such great feedback from the fans. They stay after. We're really big on staying after and talking with them and taking photos with them. Because at the end of the day, they are every band's life support. It's really important that they understand that we are just human beings. We are just like them, and everyone deserves to chase their dreams. And it's just nice to be able to meet people and to truly see how your music affects them and the comments that they have after. So I like to think that our fan base out here and everywhere is great, but I'm a little biased.
Okay. So now, what made you guys decide to use the name Worhol for the band?
Well, a little funny story with that. Dad and I actually went through a ton of different names when we were first starting out, and this is before we even had a drummer or a bass player. It was just us, and this is almost before I even knew that he played guitar. And when I was in college, or what?
What were some of those names?
I'm not telling you what you said on the album cover. You don't know. Actually, so our first album was The Awakening, and we had something similar to that, but so when I was in college, my theory teacher, he said that, with our last name, obviously being related to Andy Warhol, people already recognize that name. And he said, why don't you just use Worhol? Because a lot of my teachers actually called me by that. They hardly ever called me by my first name. And it's something that stuck. And it's something that people remember because, one, most of the people already recognize the name, but it just, you hear it and you're like, I'm curious. So once he kind of put that niche into my head, I came home and I said, well, Dad, how would you feel about just using our last name? And, of course, we've had a couple people who first thought Dad and I were like husband and wife, and we definitely said, nope, not that. So, we get it very clear that it's just father-daughter. But with Worhol, we really seem to make a very fast movement in the amount of time that we've been doing this.
Okay. So now for the Awakening, how the sales been going for that one?
It's been great. Same thing, we've had a lot of overseas and like I said, in Argentina, our distribution has been great. We have some really cool news coming up later this year that will involve physical CDs somewhere outside of the U.S. I can't exactly state where now, but we have a lot of opportunities that have risen with The Awakening. We only released it this past July, and it's been doing great. We're going to be releasing a few more music videos as well to kind of help with marketing, but we've had a great support system with magazines and reviewers, and, obviously with our new EP coming out with our record label, Eminence Records, we'll hopefully have the same success. We're just taking our music and we are expanding it, and we are taking it to a whole other level that we're really excited about.
So how is it working with Yvonne Loveland and Voodoo Queen Management?
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said, how is it working with Yvonne Loveland?
Oh, so the Voodoo Doll. So I actually was one of the dolls in December, which was awesome. They sent me, I guess it was a Facebook message when we first talked, and ironically enough, I had almost submitted to be a doll, but I know that they get hundreds of submissions for every month, and they reached out to me, which was such an amazing thing, and she is so supportive. What I actually love about her the most is even it doesn't matter when you ever were a doll, whether, because they also have one for men as well where they choose who they want, but they support you from there forward. And the people who are part of that whole kind of, I guess, crew, you could say, they all support one another. And it's been great working with them. It's been great communicating with them. They're such sweet people on top of really supportive people that want to make a change in this industry. So, yes, they are absolutely amazing people.
Okay. Now, I'm about to play the song, Is This What's Left of Me? Can you tell me something about that song?
Yes. So here's the story with it. So obviously we had our some of the music, when Marty joined the band, and we would always write it out for him, and we would say, you have to remember, this is the title, and for some reason he just could not remember the name of that song. Even if I started playing it, he couldn't remember it. But eventually it started to grow on him. So one day I was like, oh, like fungus. And he was like, well, yeah. So I still to this day sometimes have to say the fungus song. And even every now and then, on the set list, I'll literally write it as the fungus song so he remembers it. But it's odd because as a musician, there's some tracks that you write where you don't know how people are going to react to it. And sometimes what you think is going to be your hit ends up being complete opposite. And with this song, it was kind of a gamble. We didn't know exactly how the audience was going to react to it, and it ends up being almost everyone's favorite track. So the fungus song obviously grows because it grows on everyone.
Now, what is the song about?
Aha, you're going into a deeper message. Dad's looking at me like, I don't even know what this song's about. I know. The guys half of them don't even know what the song's about. I write the lyrics, clearly.
4 notes, I don't know what it's about.
Oh, my gosh. So the title, Is This What's Left of Me? It talks about hard times that we face in today's society and being able to work through them, and how much of a person, strength and ability to really be able to get through this world. And basically the title alone says it, Is This What's Left of Me? But you always have to pull through and keep going. It's actually a very encouraging song. So saying, Is This What's Left of Me? Is actually kind of the opposite. There's more to life than what meets the eye, and there's more to us mentally, emotionally, to where we are capable of always getting through hard times.
Okay, well, let's take a break and play that one now.
Sounds great.
These nights
We're live back on the air with Worhol, and that was "Is This What's Left of Me." Hope you people enjoyed this song.
Got 13 minutes left.
Yes.
No.
Hold on, guys. Where were you,
Do
Dave?
you have any questions?
Okay. Where's the first place you guys played at ever?
Actually, that's kind of hilarious. Our first tour that we ever did was actually in Europe, in the United Kingdom. So we were really excited. You know, we flew over and we stayed there roughly about 2 weeks, and we traveled all throughout the United Kingdom, and then we played in Wales, and that's the same location that my keyboard ended up getting ruined by the airplane. I won't go into detail on who it was, but my keyboard is actually still over in the UK. We didn't even bring it back because it was gone, my case and everything too. So we started out not in our own country, and then we eventually came back to the States, and then we're hoping to go back overseas again soon.
That's cool.
Yeah, we love it over there. You know, everyone over there is just as appreciative. The food was amazing, the views, the people, everyone was just so kind, you know. And they see musicians, and they're very welcoming, and it was just a great experience for us. We were very fortunate.
You guys left stuff in the UK, you said?
Yeah, my keyboard is still in the UK. It's broken though, so I had to get another one.
Get it?
Yeah, I would love the case back. That was an expensive case, but everything's over there.
Okay. That's cool.
We'll pick it up next time we go over there.
So how many times you guys been to Europe with this band?
We've only been once. We have some things coming up, hopefully this year, and we have our physical copy of The Awakening actually will be releasing in a different country. It's not in Europe, but we're hoping to be able to travel, you know, overseas in several different countries. We have some friends, you know, that are over there, some bands. That's one reason, too, you know, in this industry, most of the time that the friends that you end up having, you know, are the ones that you tour with, so that's why it's really important to reach out and branch out in those areas.
Okay, let me ask you something off the topic. So, do you have your favorite villainous cartoon character or favorite female villain that you like?
Did you say cartoon character?
No, favorite female villain.
Oh, female villain. Oh. Well, I could have answered cartoon character better. Man, and I'm a huge movie buff. I mean, guys, if y'all have one, I got to think on this one.
No female horror.
I don't know.
I
That's
love
a tough
Harley
one.
Quinn.
That's a question I've never been asked.
I love
Do you
Harley
guys?
Quinn.
Do you have a female villain character?
The only one, from Underworld, that's my...
Oh, that's
Oh, yeah.
true. Well, she's not really a villain. Yeah, so especially, I don't know about Marty, but we love, like, horror shows, and so Underworld is... She's shaking his head no. Underworld is a big one for me. That's what Dad just said, but I don't know if I would categorize her as a villain, but I mean, I guess she kind of is like a vampire. Man, that is a tricky one. I'm a little stumped.
Okay, there is Catwoman, Wonder Woman. No, those are villains.
Well, I thought Catwoman, but I don't know if she's really a villain.
I'll go with
She's not a
Catwoman.
villain. No.
Oh, Marty's, yeah, he's caving in and saying Catwoman.
Harley Quinn. What's your thoughts on Harley Quinn?
Huh? Oh, you said that. I'm sorry, say that one more time. Who is it?
What's
Did you
your
say
thoughts?
Harley Quinn?
Yeah, what's your thoughts on Harley Quinn?
Oh, I think she is amazing. And that new movie was absolutely awesome, too, especially with Jared Leto in it.
Oh yeah, I have the poster in the dog.
Yes, actually, I do have the villain. Haha, Craig, you are right. Did you ever see the movie Queen of the Damned?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. That chick, yeah, her. She's my number one. The music in that movie was amazing. Whoever was the music director for that, did an amazing job.
Rest in peace, Alea.
Yes, absolutely.
The only reason why I said Harley Quinn because I have so many dolls and posters of hers.
Mhm.
So
did you like Suicide Squad? Did you like how she played that character?
yes, I just hate Will Smith.
I actually forgot that he was in that movie until I started watching it, and then I was like, oh, yeah.
No,
Yeah, I thought
that's
everyone played their role really well, especially she did. She really did.
that's the only character I hate in the movie was Will Smith.
Can I ask why you don't like him?
He's too racist.
Oh. Okay, that's a good answer.
Trust me, I met him in '94.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's sad to hear. I actually recently read an article about actors that you meet in person and how they truly are and what you would expect and think, and most of the time it's completely opposite, which is a very sad situation, and I'm sure there's been some cases with musicians as well. At the end of the day, we are all humans. There's no one better than anyone out here in this world, so you always have to remember where you came from and remember who you are, and even though people do look up to you, you kind of have that role where you have to be appreciative, and I mean, that's the same thing, just like actors, their fans are the reason why they go see their shows, the movies. So I find that, disheartening whenever people are like that.
Okay, now let's go back to the band. Fondest memory you have. Fondest memory you have that stands out.
Fondest memory. Okay, well, I'll let each of us say our fondest memory. You don't have a fondest memory, Marty? Okay, good. Well, who wants to go first? Because mine might take a little while. Well, not really. I won't take one. Craig, you want to say your fondest memory?
Goodness. See, I really enjoyed the tour to the UK. I just thought it was really cool to meet all the people over there, and you kind of stand out a little bit more with your American accent, I guess. And then you ask for a beer, and they tell you want an ale.
Oh, and I would always ask for sweet tea, and they looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah, even in the United States, it's kind of hard to do. But I really enjoyed it over there. I already knew I was going to a lot, but I very much did. All the people and the food, and it was very cool.
Okay, yours is UK. Awesome.
Yeah.
Marty, your turn.
I think I'll have to say we did a tour back in the fall of 2015 up to Colorado, and the trip itself, the reasons why we went up there for some business reasons, and it didn't work out at all. But I think what it did for us is it made us pull together a lot tighter as a band, and it showed how we all work together under adverse conditions. And I think it really showed everybody's strengths as individuals and as a group. And I carried that home with it. You want to carry something positive out of a negative, and that's what I got out of that trip.
Very good point.
That's a very good point, Marty. All right, Dad, you're up. Oh, God, he has a smirk.
Uh-oh. Okay, this is going to be really different, but my fondest memory of the band was I built the castle that we have as a prop, and I worked so hard on it, and I was trying to get ready in time, and it actually had 2 gargoyles on it, and I forgot to glue one down on the top, and when I was moving the castle, a gargoyle fell off and hit me in the head.
So it knocked some sense in you?
Really, I had a lump on my head for at least 2 weeks, and every time I see the castle and the band play with the castle, I think of that gargoyle hit me in the head.
That's a morbid.
Fond memory.
That's a fond memory. Man, wow.
I don't remember you being fond of that. I remember you yelling at me saying it was my fault. Because I wanted the castle. Oh, goodness. So, my fondest memory is there was a show that I actually hand-tossed roses out to the audience, and I had handwritten messages, and every rose had a different meaning to it. And there was a lady who came up to me after the show, and she was actually crying, and she said, I don't understand what this meaning is. And I said, I don't know which one that you got, but in my heart, I wrote these. And she said that was exactly what she was going through. And so, at that moment, it made me realize that I was exactly where I was supposed to be, and I will still remember that memory for the rest of my life.
Okay. Now, any funny or embarrassing moments of the band you guys could share?
Well, I think the gargoyle's falling and hitting Dad. Pretty good one. That was embarrassing. Okay, so when we first started out, I like to change my wardrobe quite a bit. And there was a show that I was wearing kind of like this lacy skirt, and I had these heels on, which I typically don't wear heels on stage anymore, probably because of this. And luckily it was the end of the set, and I kind of went down either on 2 knees or 1 knee or something, and I didn't realize it, but my heel was stuck in my skirt, and I couldn't get up. So I think I went down literally like the second verse of that song, and I literally had to finish the whole entire song down on the ground because I knew, I couldn't get up. So I had to wait until like the audience, the lights came on, and I had to like make sure I was okay. So that's kind of embarrassing on my part. I don't know. Do you guys have anything embarrassing?
I do.
Oh, Craig has one.
I do. Yeah.
I can't remember how long ago it was. A couple months ago, but we were playing a gig and have my wireless belt pack on, and had a particular belt that doesn't have holes. It just kind of squeezes together and holds, and it's always worked for me until this actual show, to where the belt decided to come off, and the belt pack started pulling it all off, and so the pants got a little looser. So it was kind of interesting.
What show was this? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that, you guys. So it was kind of interesting to finish like half of the remaining song while trying to maintain all of that. But needless to say, I've never worn that belt ever again. Wow. Yeah, it was something else.
All right. Well, here's my. I guess it's funny. And it was actually in a band before this one. It was years ago. I wear contact lenses, but years ago I used to wear my glasses on stage, and I was playing really hard one night, and I reared way back with my left stick to hit my snare drum, and ended up catching myself in the side of my head. And besides leaving a huge welt on the side of my face and almost knocking me out, it pulled my glasses off, and the last thing I saw was my glasses go out into the audience. And after the song, a girl came up from the audience and brought me my glasses back.
That's funny.
I think these are yours.
Yeah. So that was mine.
We have quite a bit.
Those are hilarious, guys. Guys, we only got 30 seconds left. You guys want to tell the audience any last words?
Well, thank you so much for having us and for allowing us to be on the show, and for everyone listening, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. If anyone wants to reach out to us, we have our website, which is worhol.net. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Reach out to us, and we would love to speak with you.
Okay, thank you, guys. Hold on a second.